Hello everyone, hope this video finds you well, you're working hard and keeping safe. Today I'm going to carry on our theme of humility. Here's a question for you. Who's the most important person at Aspley Guys School? Now, some of you might be thinking, hold on a minute Mr. Brown, that's you. And of course the answer is absolutely no way. I'm not the most important person at this school. I do an important job. But Mrs. Appleton in the office, she looks after all the finance. And Miss Raftery, also in the office, she makes sure all the business at the school gets done. And then there's Mr. Jenkins, the caretaker, who keeps the school safe, he keeps it clean. And then you've got all the teachers, who do all the teaching of you. And then we've got our brilliant support staff, who help our teachers to help teach you. Am I the most important person? No way. I wonder if you was to come across a person who thought that they were the most important person. I wonder what a kind of person they would be. Today, I'm going to tell you a story about a person who thought he was the most important person. He thought he was the most important person in the world. I wonder what happened to him. King Nebuchadnezzar was the most powerful king in the world. He was the king of the mighty Assyrian Empire, the most powerful nation in the world. There was nothing that they couldn't do, and there was nothing that he, Nebuchadnezzar, could not do either. Now Nebuchadnezzar had seen an awful lot of strange things in his time. He lived in a time of magic and of wonders. One day, however, he had a dream that really perplexed him. He dreamt of a huge tree that reached up into the sky. So huge it was. Its leaves reached up into the clouds, and the roots went right down deep into the ground. And in it lived all the birds and animals. And then one day, the tree was cut down. Nebuchadnezzar woke. He knew that the dream was important, but didn't have a clue what it meant. He sent for Daniel, one of his most trusted advisors. "Daniel," he said, "what does this dream mean?" Daniel thought. And then he said, "O great king, I wish that this would be something that I could tell your enemies, but sadly it is not so. God has looked down on you. He knows how arrogant that you are. You, O king, are the tree, and you will be cut down because of your arrogance, because you do not acknowledge that you are not the most important person." "Oh, Daniel, what terrible news," said Nebuchadnezzar. "What shall I do?" And Daniel said, "I'm sorry, but your arrogance is so strong, there is nothing that you can do." Initially, Nebuchadnezzar took heed from the warning that had been given by Daniel. He was much more humble than he did before. He was less arrogant. He would look to his advisors and ask for their counsel in leading Assyria. However, time passed, and about a year later, Nebuchadnezzar was walking around thinking about what a wonderful person he was, how he was so mighty, how he had seen everything be done. His arrogance overpowered him again. "Is this not the great Babylon that I have built as the royal residence? By my mighty power and for the glory of my own majesty," he said. And then, like a click of the fingers, all of a sudden, Nebuchadnezzar was seized by a great madness. Within a very short time, he found himself living out in the fields with the wild animals. The prophecy that Daniel had given him had come true. For years he lived amongst the wild animals, until, after 7 years, his madness went. and he was restored as king of the Assyrians. Nebuchadnezzar was never arrogant again, and he gave thanks and praise to God for the lesson in humility that he had been given. Wow, Nebuchadnezzar really did learn the hard way. He thought he was the most important person on the whole planet. He wasn't. He was important, but not the most important. And if a king can learn that lesson, then I think we all can. We're all important. Everybody is. I'm important. You're important. So when we're dealing with each other, we should show a bit of humility, recognizing that they are important just as much as you are. Or as the author C.S. Lewis said, humility isn't thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less.